my hair.
How's your hair?
Well, it's clean. I know it smells good.
It does smell really good.
I had it in an upside down braid, and then I had a stocking cap on it, and I just took it out, and I haven't brushed it since, so I thought maybe it would be like...
No, looks good.
No, that's good. I was expecting... I haven't looked in a mirror, so I thought it'd be...
We're all a big family. We don't care how your hair looks, honey.
You have no room to talk with how your hair's been over the years.
I've always looked good. My hair has always been...
Amazing.
I peaked at Caveman Nate.
You did peak at Caveman Nate.
There was no topping that one.
I liked it. I miss it.
I don't.
I liked the big fluffy hair.
I don't. It was such a pain.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody does long hair. Whew. All right. Let's get to talking.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, we have a little bit of an update to give you guys on our addition to the homestead.
Wah, wah.
It ain't happening.
Nope.
No, we got some unfortunate news, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to town today to pick up the trailer, so borrow or rent, I guess, a trailer from a co-op, and which was kind of funny because it's what we were going to get was so small. The trailer was huge.
The trailer's meant for cattle.
Yeah. So for like lots of animals, like you could probably fit like 12 pigs in there, yeah. Or you know.
You could probably do 3 cattle in there pretty easily, and yeah.
2 horses. I mean, it's like at least a 2-horse trailer. It's a good size.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that was the trailer that was available to us. So we picked it up from town. It rained all day today. And so just backed it into the driveway just far enough to...
skills.
Mm-hmm. Mad skills.
They were skills. I got it back into the driveway.
Into the driveway. Yes, you did.
I did.
And then we walked up the driveway.
Hey, I got it back into the driveway.
Enough to close the gate.
I got it back into the driveway.
So...
Credit.
It's more than I would have been able to do.
Due.
No, you did good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll beat that out of you. I'll beat that. You did get out of you.
Give me validation. No, so, and then everything was good. And since it was raining, we just kind of hunkered down inside, and I was, just doing my normal thing, checking my messages and all of the fun stuff. And I got a message from the lady who we were purchasing the items from. The animals.
Well, they know they're livestock now.
Yeah, they're livestock. And it was a please call me ASAP with her phone number, which, that's never a good sign. And we had been chatting throughout the day, her and I, because the weather has been so rainy and like super sloppy. And all day yesterday, Nate, was working on the paddock for the new animals and a temporary shelter, because we're very big on quarantining animals that come from another farm and not introducing them, whether it's chickens or sheep or pigs. Like if we have anything existing, we never just put them in with our livestock. We want to make sure they're healthy. We want to make sure that for at least 30 days. And we do that with everything. Even like when I get one new rooster, I do that. And it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but in the long run, it's always a good thing to make sure your animals are healthy and you're not introducing anything to them. So that's why we built another paddock, even though we could have very easily put them in with our existing animals. And so anyway, we had been chatting back and forth and talking about, can we get the trailer, into her area. She was talking about having to move her hot wire so that we could get the animals close enough to the trailer and all of this stuff. So her and I had been going back and forth a lot. So it was very surprising for me to have her say, hey, call me. And Nate knew nothing about the call because he was hanging out in the bedroom and I was out here. So I gave her a call and she was in tears. And I was like, oh no, she lost one of the animals.
She removed the hot wire and they escaped.
That was my first thought. And then it got injured. Yeah. Because she lives in a neighborhood. She has acreage, but she lives more in a neighborhood. So my fear was, oh my gosh, it got hit by a car or something. That was like my immediate, oh no, because, why is this lady crying when she's, when I'm calling her? It turns out she is a very responsible pet owner and livestock owner, and she had tested her animals for different things, and it turns out we were going to purchase 2 rams from her. And the reason we were going to get 2 rams is, one, we were going to get a ram to breed our ewes, and the second ram was she had just castrated him, so he was going to be a wether.
Wether, yeah.
And so he would then be a companion for the ram, and he was actually the ram's son. So he would be a companion for the times where we had to separate the ewes and the rams, so he would never be alone. Because again, it's just...
Neither the ram nor the wether would be alone ever.
Ever.
They would all be in the group together, or they'd be male-female separation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when that's really important is when they're lambing. So you remove the ram, and so that's why we wanted to make sure we had that, had 2 of them. And so she let me know that one of her ewes tested positive for something. And unfortunately, it's something that has no cure. It's a death sentence. And she literally just found out like an hour before I called her. She had just gotten it back. She had gotten back the blood results that came back negative, but the fecal samples came back positive.
There was a week in between the blood work and the fecal. And so in the week plus you've been talking with her and arranging.
She was confident.
She was confident that these were going to be healthy ram and wether. And then just today she got the
fecal sample.
Which is, for us, it's good that happened now.
Yeah.
But it's just horrible for her because it's this particular disease or illness or whatever it is spread in a flock.
It's spread through fecal matter.
Yeah.
So it's very hard it's going to be very hard for her to contain. And also the wether, who was the ram's son, the ewe that tested positive was the wether's mother. So the ram we were going to buy had mated with the infected ewe, and also the sire that we were going to purchase was also from that same ewe. So she just said in good conscience she absolutely was not comfortable, and I wasn't comfortable either. So I mean, my heart broke for her because they're her animals, and she's had them on the farm, and the ewe is an older one. It's not a young one, so it'd be like one of our girls getting it. So anyway, so we all decided that yes, that was in everyone's best interest, just to go ahead and pass and not make any
And we already had plans to do a very thorough inspection.
Yes.
In addition to the quarantine, so when we got there, we're going to certainly do the eye check to make sure there wasn't...
The FOMACHA check, where you check for parasite load.
Wasn't a heavy parasite load, because we're not going to take in an animal that's going to cause us a lot of hardship for health concerns anyway. But this just kind of negated all that, because very clearly this is...
I'm just, I'm just very strong. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, then, and so I'm not upset about it. I'm not anything. Like I told her, I was like, we've never met them. We're not attached to them. It's not like we've gone and visited them several times and we're like, oh, they're going to be our animals. We're a little kind of unbiased at the moment. It's like, okay, we just wanted to make sure we were getting healthy animals. And I'm very thankful. She didn't have to be honest. She could have sold them to us and said nothing because it's undetectable. You can't even test for it. Like the 2 that we were going to buy are too young for it to even show up. So they can go years without signs or symptoms. Oh, so it's something so crazy that, so we could have honestly just
never known.
And even with our 30-day quarantine that we planned, had they not shown any signs or symptoms, we would have introduced them into our flock, and then
so our purpose of getting the ram was to breed our ewes because we want to sell the lambs.
Babies.
And then that raised the question for us of what do we need to do to make sure that our ewes are healthy enough
Right.
to breed to then sell
Yep.
their offspring.
Because it's again, no signs or symptoms.
Yeah.
So though our girls look completely healthy,
They could have it.
they could be carriers.
Yeah, and they're at that age now where we can.
We can
right?
test them,
Yeah.
yep.
So there's a little bit of research that needs to be done by us, mainly by Katie, to to figure out what we need to do to make sure our girls are okay
Yeah.
to breed, and then we now need to be in search for another ram. And
Yeah, and I'm gonna look for a more closed flock. She was pretty good, but she had introduced rams and ewes a year ago. That's it's been a year since she's introduced anything else, and before that it was a couple years. So she's only doing it every 2 to 3 years where she's introducing something, but and she's gotten all of her animals from the same farm, and so it's one of those where it's like, oh my goodness.
so how does she get it?
Yeah, right. It's like, did it come from that farm? Did it, sometimes it says that you can't use the same equipment to remove feces as you add in hay bales, like what they're going to feed. There's cross-contamination things. So there's all sorts of, things that you don't really even consider sometimes when you're in a hurry and you're raising livestock and things like that, where it's like, oh, you got to kind of stop and think. It's like, okay, so we have 2 sets of forklifts. One, maybe or 2 buckets, right? We have 2 different buckets. One bucket is only for cleaning.
Scoop and poop.
And one's only for dirty stuff, right? Like one's only for putting fresh bedding in, and one's only for removing dirty bedding. It's like, it's kind of crazy that it's like you don't even think about that. Because I was super nervous about renting a community trailer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super nervous because... And it's the same reason I won't buy animals from auction. You just don't know what they've been exposed to at the auction house because of all of the different, it's just a petri dish. You have no idea. Right. And it's kind of the reason that I've held off taking our chickens to the auction, because it's like, I would hate for them to catch something, and then the poor people who bought them, it goes home, and then potentially, get sick, even though it's no fault of your own. It's still, I would feel awful. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with the animals. So we will not be, and it wasn't the best timing to get a ram right now anyway, because you don't want summer litters, too many flies, and it's too hot for them to, like, if you were to breed them right away. Or summer lambs, I guess it's not really a litter. They're not dogs, but...
Yeah, so we'll revisit this in fall, right?
Yeah, I think I'll continue to look. Obviously, I'd prefer to purchase them when there's grass and not have to buy extra hay for them, as would anyone. But that's why prices go up so much when it's spring and summer. And plus, everyone wants to breed them certain times of the year. So now is the time where you get a little bit better deal on them. And she was just happy because we were actually going to give them a home. We weren't going to slaughter them. And so that was kind of, so she was excited that they were going to, they were going to stay together and, have a new batch of ladies.
Hey, ladies.
And as I said, I was like, that's actually what we call them. Hey, ladies.
I got you a man.
Yep.
And a little son.
Yep. Didn't even have to work for it. You got a man and a son.
We just bought you a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
It was too bad.
It is too bad. But things happen for a reason.
Yep.
And we're both okay with it.
Yep.
I was like, I really don't want to get... But we want to make this. We want to do this. And there's probably never going to be a perfect time for us.
No.
So it's like, all right, let's just do it.
We've been wanting to breed other animals and bring additional income into the homestead, and we've been talking about what animals do we like the most, and which animals cost the least.
Yep.
And so
Pigs and sheep.
Yep. Pigs we like the most, those are the ones that, like, of what we don't already have. So pigs, we loved, both of us absolutely adore pigs.
Yep.
I've loved pigs my whole life. Like, I was raised around them, so I've always been a huge fan of pigs. I think they're so fun. And they obviously have loads of babies, lots of bacon seeds. So you can sell a significant amount. You've never heard them called bacon seeds?
That's disturbing.
I'm on way too many farm Facebook pages. So yeah, bacon seeds. So basically, piglets, you know, most sows will have anywhere from 8 to 13 every litter.
Cha-ching, cha-ching,
Right.
cha-ching.
Like,
Yeah.
if you have the market for it.
Right.
However, pigs are extremely expensive to keep alive for a long time.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Their feed is very expensive. I mean, if you can figure out how to get free scraps all the time, or if we were to up our game with our food forest and, you know, our vegetables and stuff, and we're able to grow and kind of create our own food for them, we're not there yet. And so we looked at sheep are pretty much free. I mean,
Except for winter.
yep, that's why I said pretty much.
Yeah.
So they're
And I was amending it.
all year, whenever you have grass, vines, weeds, doesn't matter. They are content.
Yeah, with the pigs, we like having pigs, and selling their bacon seed, as Katie calls it, really can help pay for
The food.
the food, and then maybe a little bit of profit beyond that. So, because we're not going to go industrial size by any means, that just sounds awful.
No.
But it's just one way to help pay for them, and
Yeah.
then.
We would like to figure out, because right now I'm trying really hard to, you know, ramp up the chickens so that, and figure out a way where we're not paying out of pocket for our chickens, right? So we're making enough. I would love to be profitable, but at this point it's like, if I can at minimum not pay a penny for chicken feed throughout the year, which is very expensive for the amount of chickens that we have,
Very expensive.
then that's to me going to be very successful for us. And then of course it's additional sales, like other things I can add on, and, you know, services and things like that. And then so that was where the sheep and the pigs would come in, is again, you can make a lot more off of a couple pigs or a couple sheep than you can chickens.
Yeah.
So then, you know, how can we, you know, add that? And it's animals that we really like and enjoy having around the homestead. So that was kind of the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, so we'll see when we decide, or if we come across the right grouping. I think for us, it's just figuring out like the pigs that we would really want to commit to breeding pairs of.
Yeah, and because both what the market demands, but also what we enjoy.
Yeah, definitely not coonies.
No,
We're not doing them. Definitely not potbellies.
no.
Those are two. The markets are way too saturated down here for that. I know for a fact we wouldn't. It would. People are almost giving those animals away. I see them free on Facebook Marketplace almost on a daily basis. So, but yeah, it's just one of those where it's like
Yeah, so is it IPP? Is it Red Wattle? Is it Berkshire? Is it
mangas.
Mangas? Is it something different?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Yep.
so a little bit of work to do on that.
Yep. I'll do some more research.
Yes.
I'll just keep researching and keep looking for, again, reputable places.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about the doggies yesterday, mentioning them. I think we'll just do kind of a brief on what's going on with that and give you, if there is more over the weekend. But Levi and Winston, they love each other. They get along.
They're brothers.
They're brothers. They're brothers.
Yep.
Brothers fight. They get a little cranky. They
More so
wrestle.
Levi.
They wrestle a little bit too hard. Levi has become a little bit of a jerk.
Yep.
Over the last few days. The last 2 days, actually, he's been fine.
Yep.
But he went through a series of probably 5 days where he was very protective of his space, of his food, or of things that he thought were his that weren't his. And he was taking that out on Winston. thankfully Winston's big enough to
Shut it down.
protect himself, but Winston doesn't engage back. He doesn't reciprocate.
He just is like,
He's just like, he just puts a stop to it. And then Levi's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then licks him and bows down and stuff like that. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I have appointment for all 3 dogs, each separate days. But Levi's going first on Monday to see if there's any health-related issues that are potentially causing this territorial and food aggression. And then going to check Winston to see if there's anything going on with him. And then Kinsley, she's fine, but we just, she needs to do her routine checks and vaccines and stuff.
Yeah, we also need to re-up vaccines, so that's the main reason.
Yeah, we do vaccinate our dogs for the various things.
Especially rabies, because...
It's mandatory.
Yeah,
it's...
Yeah, and the fact that we have, raccoons and all sorts of stuff, we don't want to put them at risk.
That's also a death sentence.
Yep.
So, yeah. So anyway, so all of them are doing a health check this coming week, updates on the vaccines, and then talk with the vet about the behavior issues with Levi. He kind of goes in these waves. He'll just have...
He's got a short fuse sometimes.
He does. He's like his dad.
And Winston's like me. I'm kidding.
I want to say you're talking like fluffy? Like you, like...
Yep, super fluffy.
Yeah, super fluffy.
Patient, tolerant.
So anyway, but the aggression that's been happening over the last few days has been way worse than what it has in the past.
Yeah.
He's attacked Kinsley a few times for being in his territory. Kinsley's respected that and stays away. Winston, Levi's never physically attacked Winston before. He would kind of posture around him. He would kind of growl or maybe lift his lip.
Like warn him.
Yeah, do the warning. But over the last few days, he physically attacked Winston. Winston shut it down real quick. But that's an escalation to what it's been. So we're going through the paces to see what's going on.
Just making sure he's healthy, because I mean that's typically, it's got to be like large scale changes in their environment or their routine or their behaviors, or it's an illness is usually what goes on with aggression, especially food aggression or territorial. And I mean, really, truly, nothing major has changed. That we're aware of
in terms of our perspective.
Yeah, from the routine that we give to them. I mean, the food hasn't changed. We've always changed location. It's always been in the same, maybe 1/8 of an acre
location of where they get their food,
where they eat. Yeah. But it's always, we always are constantly moving it because we don't want Levi to be territorial of any one space, because we've had those instances with Kinsley in the past, and we don't want Kinsley to have to not to worry about where she goes, in the yard, and we don't want to have to worry if we just let her out and turn our backs that she's going to get in trouble.
Yeah. The only significant change might be those dog houses.
Yeah.
When Levi had attacked Kinsley in the past, the few times that he has, it's always been around his perceived territory.
Where he likes to hang out.
There's been a few areas throughout the property that he's tried to figure out where to be when he's frightened.
And that's why we thought the dog houses would be good.
Right. And so we had the 2 dog houses fairly close to each other, and we're feeding both of them. Winston gets his dog house, Levi gets his, and that's always where they're fed. And maybe they were too close, and Levi was using both of those as his. But then it kind of went to the point where they weren't even around the doghouse, and Levi would still protect any food. There was one point where I gave Winston some food because he wasn't being allowed to eat by Levi, and Levi came from a totally different area of the property and wouldn't let Winston eat, and it was nowhere near where any of them eat. Yeah, so
we even took Winston and let him come inside the house to eat, just to make sure he could eat, because to me he seems skinny, and so I always worry. I'm like, if I don't physically watch them eat, then I'm like, okay, did you actually eat, or did your brother eat your food? Like, and it goes both ways, because I've seen Winston eat Levi's food too. So I can't say it's only Levi being the one that's eating the food. So whenever I feed them, I would say 75% of the time I sit and watch it till they're 100% done. But, you know, when the weather's like pouring rain or crazy, I don't always, or if they're out barking and guarding, I don't interrupt their guard duties to say, hey, your dinner's over here. So I'll just put their food in their dog houses. And that's what I did tonight, because I don't think they've come back over here. They've been out around the pond for the last hour and a half.
Yeah, they are getting enough to eat.
Oh yeah.
They each get 6 cups of food a day, plus
eggs
or whatever. Not every single day, but they'll get add-ons. There's plenty for them to eat. One of the things we'll be talking about with the vet is maybe the type of food that they're eating needs to change. Maybe it's, I mean, we seem to have pretty good luck with this brand that we're using. Their coat seems good. They seem healthy. They seem energetic and stuff. But you know, it could be that, or it just could be something else. So we're just going to kind of go through these paces because they're important for us, because they're part of the family, and they're also very important to the homestead. So so that's what's up with that.
Yeah. So hopefully it was just a weird stick up his ass and
Yeah,
away.
I separated the
dog houses
pretty significantly.
Yeah, they're a good ways
they're,
away.
Feeding is a little bit more time consuming now. They're not in their final places, but
it's okay.
It's a step towards it, and and over the last couple of days they've been fine, and they still play with each other. Like they'll still run around and wrestle, and
20 minutes after they get in an argument.
Yeah, so
they're brothers.
they're
brothers.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with that. So that leads us into the weekend, and that means I get to say, or we get to say, we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.